Yo,
What's up?
hey, how's it going?
Going good, going good.
Nice, nice. Been a
You
little
have rank,
bit.
but apart from that, it's all right. Yeah, been a little bit true.
What was that thing you just said before that?
I said frustrating day of ranked,
I
but
see. Yeah, it's always this game is very frustrating. I'm
hmm.
always mad at it. Even when I'm winning. Like when I'm winning, I'm mad that like I can't believe you people don't hold yourself to a higher standard. And then,
That's
when you
yeah.
lose, you're like, man, am I just as bad? It hurts. It's
Yep,
frustrating.
yep,
But
yep.
all right. So what do you want to go over? I read through what you were saying, but it seems like there's like a bunch of stuff kind of bouncing around in your head, and I was curious,
Yeah.
what you wanted to talk about first or go over.
Well, I think the main thing is kind of that like one sentence TLDR I wrote after writing an essay. Uh, is like
You could write more. It's
I'm
always
trying to
helpful.
yeah. I'm trying to get GM like within the end of the
Mm-hmm.
year. So
Mm-hmm.
ideally before like January or something. I mean, if it's a little later than that, it's no big deal. But that's the kind of timeline I want to get in.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like I'm a little lost. Like you're saying, it's like I have a million things I'm kind of working on at the same time, and I'm like spamming a million games. But I feel like I'm not as focused as I probably should be, and I don't really know how I want to like what I want to focus on and what I should focus on and whatnot. It feels like I'm losing like barely to a lot of diamonds, and then sometimes I take games off of GM. Like I beat Agent, I beat Epoodle. Like I have like I
Okay.
feel really good wins, but then I play like random Sheik that's Diamond 2 and I like completely crumble. Or like I barely lost and I'm like, okay, I feel like if I'm able to beat Agent, this shouldn't be close, even though it's different matchups and whatnot. But like, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So I guess I'm like trying to basically the assignment for you if you can do that is like, can you like tell me where to go from here in order to get GM is basically I guess the question.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure we can do that. Um,
Epic.
I watched like 10 seconds of a couple of the replays. It seems like there's like a Fox Puff one, and then like a
Mhm.
Falco Fox. It's kind of hard to tell which one's which because they're all like together.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
which one do you want to start with, or should I just pick first? There's a bunch of
Let
games
me
here.
see. I guess the KJH game might be the most relevant.
Okay, which one? Which
Uh,
ones are those?
Let me find it. I can like resend it to you in a maybe more orderly
Yeah, just
fashion.
like sending to me is just like a couple at a
Yeah.
time or something.
Yeah. Let me actually resend the KJH set. I think the KJH set might be the best to go over.
Okay, okay.
In part because there's a million Falcos in Montreal, and they're all in the PR.
Yeah, I saw the game I saw so far was against, I guess, like High Shadow or something, some Fox
Yeah.
player. And
Yeah.
was that just like
He means Falco, but he also plays Fox, but
okay?
he's pretty good with both.
Yeah, do you feel like that's like I'll check out the KJH set first. I had some thoughts on the way you were playing against that
Mhm.
Fox, but I'm gonna look at the KJH stuff first.
Okay. So this is the KJH set that I just sent you.
Cool.
Last game was getting closer. Game one, I kind of get demolished. Game two, I get absolutely demolished. And game three, it felt like a bit closer, but
Okay. Let me screen share you really quick.
mhm.
Let me know if it's working.
It's working.
It's working? Okay. Oh, this is a Falco Ditto.
Yeah. I
Okay.
dual main.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay. I'll say, all right, I'm going to take a look at this. I'm going to see uh, what I think. I might want to go back to that Fox game in a second, but I'll see if there's something useful here.
Mhm.
That's funny. That's the second time I've seen that down tilt. Like I saw you do it in the other game immediately too. It's yeah. All right. Let me see. Yeah, I don't think we should go over a Falco Ditto right now.
Okay.
I think it's too, the matchup is too unique and game plan oriented, and I think
What
it
would be
would
a
it
good
would
matchup?
it would result in me going over like a lot of like why this laser should be different instead of like fixing the more general problems.
Right, right. Okay.
Um,
What would be a good matchup?
yeah, I think the Fox ones are good. If you could just resend
Mhm.
the Fox ones,
Yeah, sure.
I think that
Let
would be good.
me find it. Uh, would like a ranked fox maybe be better, or is because Shadow is like a Falco main,
Yeah, I
for
think
me.
either way is fine.
Okay.
Just some sort of non Falco, like either Fox or Sheik or whatever, I think would be fine.
There is fox. I don't know if it's the same friendly. It's just
Okay. That down tilt you did was a little bit of a red flag.
okay.
Because
Oh
my
no.
my impression on like the 30 seconds of footage that I have fully watched of you playing is that like you aren't thinking, "Oh, this is I must have gotten the wrong one." Oh,
Yes,
I
it
see.
says
The fourth
no
one is
three.
the
Yeah,
Fox one. Okay, okay.
exactly.
Probably just like when you send the message with the replay, just be like one word of
Oh
like
yeah, like
just
fox.
these
Yeah, yeah,
replays
yeah.
or whatever. Okay. I probably have to restream it to you.
Yeah. There you
Okay. So yeah, I did. This is not the one that I saw before, but I imagine the same stuff will probably be relevant. So my impression from watching the first one and a little bit of that KJH set was that like the ideas I so it feels like the ideas that you're having are not complete. Like a lot
go.
of the ideas are very like they're kind of like you'll think of like one angle to the situation that might be advantageous and then
Right.
kind of just go with that without really like fully processing whether it's a good idea or not.
Mm.
And it kind of creates this impression of like you don't super care about like making a really really good interaction happen and more so are trying to just sort of angle in a positive direction overall.
I see.
um
Okay.
so like that down tilt keeps sticking out to me in my head just because there's like no reason in the world to do the down tilt because there's
Okay.
no like logic that would make that down tilt happen. It's more of like this feels kind of like maybe a down tilt spot, and what it ends up with is you sort of like creating positions that maybe have like a 65% chance of going well and then
Right.
kind of trying to like react if they go well. um and it kind of will probably create some inconsistency. Like in that other game I saw too, it was like you were looking for a kill at like 70 and you were on the top platform of Yoshi's and you dropped through the platform and you hit like and you did like laser F smash
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
they dodged the F smash and there it's sort of like this like holding yourself to like a standard of like what
Mm.
types of openings you're going to get and like I don't know it's like I haven't fully figured it out. It could be like a lack of confidence in like making exactly what you want to happen.
Mhm.
Or it could be a sort of thing of like you've just played a lot and you have a bunch of like bad habits that are kind of built into your play.
That
Uh,
could very much be
so
it, for
and
sure.
like yeah, I'm not sure exactly which one it is yet, but there's like a little bit of like a looseness to it that like
Mhm.
the game should feel, especially as Falco. It's really important as Falco because he doesn't have a lot of like oops, I got something amazing. He does have
Right.
those, but he has way less than like the other top tiers.
Mhm.
Um, so I think like I liked when I see a Falco to feel the feeling that like you are like really really focused on getting something in particular at any given time and
Right.
that like the opponent is going to have to do something that would prevent that from happening, Whereas
Right.
I'm set. There's a little bit of like a wishy-washiness of like I'll kind of go for this, and you're like, maybe they kind of move, so maybe more like a this, and then like they kind of
Yeah.
like that, and like
Yeah.
I feel like it's like essentially and I actually did a lesson about this really recently that like when you get to when you're starting to get good, the only thing that matters is doing good things. Like if you get 1-6 stock, you're probably gonna win the game against like plat players or something like that.
Yeah.
And then as you get better, it becomes a lot more about like efficiency, and it's more and more about just maximizing your efficiency in the sense of like if you are in a neutral position and you do a back air and you do this back air in a position that the reward is not super high for hitting the back air, then like you might go a bunch of games in a row where you back air and they dash dance and nothing happens, and you just sort of like, oh, okay, I'll keep playing. Or you do the back air and they run into it and it taps them away and they go to ledge or something and then they ledge dash and you keep playing. And then maybe the next interaction you do something better. But as you get better and as you're trying to like, really make sure you can consistently beat players who are already pretty good, like those inefficiencies of like, well, I played this interaction kind of meh, but I played the next interaction well, is like a 50% good interaction rate already,
Right.
and like those types of inefficiencies add up really, really fast. So based on that is like my initial thoughts based on like a few seconds, but usually the type of stuff only happens for a few reasons. We'll watch a little bit more of this game and and sort of point those out. So I feel like this position was good. I feel like you go for this. Okay, you end up here. You go for this. You go for this mix. It's not necessarily like the most like patient, well thought out position, but at least it had like let's say I was teaching or I was going over a set with like if I was going over a set with like KJH, or somebody like a pro like a super pro player, and I'm going over a set with them, I could look at this position and be like, okay, well, you're wave landing off and doing this laser, but like what did they really give you as like a tell to make this happen? Like what were you really punishing doing this? It felt more like from this position you do this, you realize they're too far away, and you kind of like make a general positioning read that like attacking this center position will be pretty strong, and it turned out to be pretty strong. And so like if I was talking to a super pro player, I would be like, that's kind of like a gamble, because like as you get better, you need it to be like more and more reasonable that you got your hits.
But so like how do I not gamble then? Because like I have no tell. Like he's fairly far away and I can't like there's nothing much to do, it feels. You know what I mean? Like I don't know if it's
yeah. So okay, so really quick, just to finish what I was saying is that
sorry.
No, you're totally good. That like I actually think that doing that at the level you're at is not a huge deal, because no, so yeah because like it is at least aiming for like, well, I have a shine in mind. If it works, it's a pretty good pressure. And so like I'm trying to highlight the difference in like what I would consider efficient at like a top pro level versus what I would efficient at like a getting grandmaster level. Right. And like when you're trying to get grandmaster, I'm more looking of like, okay, did this opening have a success case behind it? Like, was there some sort of success case? And then like, and we could talk about this, like the fact that, you're a little confused about what might make this position, better. We can talk about that in 1 second.
Right.
So I wanted to talk about this spot. So this back air. This is exactly what I was talking about. Whereas, like, this back air isn't going to knock down. It's not going to kill him. Even if he was a few % higher and it did knock down, it would just send him to ledge. Whereas if Fox dash dances around this and drill grabs you or up smashes you or nairs you out of it, you're at knockdown percent for nair here. Like, you will potentially lose your stock. Like, if you're playing Josh Man and you do this back air, you're dead. He's gonna tech chase you to death. It's over most of the time. But maybe you'll get away with this back air. But in this case, you didn't. But the point was that even if you get away with this back air, you need to be seeing that and being like, oh, this was literally like an interaction that could have been I could have been looking for something really good here, but instead I looked for this kind of whatever back air. So that's like the level of efficiency I sort of think that you're on. I think you could probably get past it kind of quickly, but like in my mind, I'm like, nah, this is there's gonna be like 20 of these if we watch the game, where you'll just kind of like, I'll just forward smash here, and it'll be like, okay, why? And it's like, well, maybe. Yeah. And like that type of thinking like just doesn't hold up against better opponents, essentially.
Yeah, that makes sense too. Like when I play, like I had a couple ranked sets against like Cody and stuff, and he would just like Omega owns me anytime I did like some. Like,
yeah, and it's like even if you have like a few games where you can like fight back, it's because you got like a few reads, and the games where your reads don't work out, you get obliterated. Whereas like, you know, Cody will miss his reads, but it's the type of read where he's like, all right, I missed this up air. If that up air hit, you were dead, and it's kind of looking a little tough for you to punish, and like, you know, the shine's coming out frame perfect, so like, you know, like there's like, it's very loaded with like punish information where he's like, he's either hitting you or like he missed you and he's getting ready to hit you with something amazing again, like immediately afterward. So just before I go into looking at a few more examples of that, I do want to bring up the spot that we were talking about where like, okay, so like here, what is the plan? What is, like, I know that at this point you had already decided to waveland off. Like you thought of the waveland off laser like here.
Like here.
Yeah. And so like what is the vision here? Like not even like what was your vision? Like defend doing the waveland off laser shine here, basically.
Well, I think in general, just my game plan in this matchup is to land lasers from platforms, because Fox is always kind of full hopping. And so you want to like, and he's full hopping, but he's really fast on the ground, so you don't want to just get like randomly up smash. And so I tend to default to going to the platform and then landing lasers from there. The waveland is just kind of doing all of that, but faster, like just going to the platform and then instantly dropping down with the laser. I think I assumed he would just kind of stay off center to the left here, and he would like dash dance. And so that's kind of why I did that.
Okay, so what makes that better from doing a turnaround laser right here?
I don't think I reacted to him shielding, and so I thought he could just running up smash at me or running nair. Or
okay, so by going to the platform here, you are anticipating a possible attack in this area.
Yeah, I guess that's true. Then my logic doesn't make any sense, because I'm both thinking he's gonna dash dance and thinking he's gonna attack at the same time. It's like
no, that's exactly what I'm saying. So like if you have this thing where you're like, okay, well, if he instantly attacks right here, he's gonna beat this laser some of the time. Like if he attacks right here, tries to like up smash you, you'll probably dodge it and hit him. But like let's say he just did a dash dance for a second and naired here, he'll nair right through your laser or like hit right through your laser. And so like a better way to structure it would you'd say something like, okay, if Fox dashes away here, then like that's not super relevant to me, you know, because I'm not in danger. So like, and I'm not gonna be able to hit him either if he goes over here. So it's like if I can't hit him and he can't hit me for that decision, and the position is not made worse, then I'm gonna try to find another opportunity. It's like, you know, you can maintaining the equal position is just not a huge deal if it happens. So I just kind of put it out of my mind, and it's more about avoid the bad spots, create the good spots.
Right.
And so like, because what's happening here is essentially you're taking a risk to get a like 52-48 position on him dashing into the corner.
Yeah.
and it has all these inherent risks to it. So it's like, okay, so let's try one where we say, okay, let's assume that we have already decided to full hop Waveland off the platform. It's not like a bad idea on its own. We could say like, okay, if I full hop up and I notice that Fox has dashed in, maybe I will
Just
double jump away.
Yeah.
And if I double jump away to this top platform and he whiffs an up smash, I can Waveland off and hit him. If he whiffs an aerial, an aerial, we'll probably break to even, which remember, breaking to even we just ignore. Who cares about breaking to even? And so it creates a position where I'm like, okay, if Fox goes this way, break to even. If Fox does a mini attack, a small commitment attack in this position, then we broke to even and I'm on the top platform. And if Fox did a heavy commitment, then I am ready to punish it on reaction. And so we've constructed a situation where, like, we either win or break even, given that Fox is within our expectations. So, like, if Fox does something super smart that we never even suspected, like if Fox just somehow full hop double jump up airs to top platform here, then like they can get us. But and like that's kind of like the process of getting better is like making sure that like your opponent is somewhat within your expectations and like managing that risk.
Right.
Whereas like if they're outside your expectations, you're just going to get hit every time. And that is like, okay, we go and we analyze that and we say Fox can do that here. Why did they do that? Which type of Fox does that? What did I do to make them do that? And we figure that out. And then the next time we say, okay, Fox could do that, but I actually think that Fox won't do that because of this. Or maybe you think Fox might go to the top plat here, so you full hop Waveland to the side plat just to check. And maybe you get a short hop up air afterward. And you're like, well, if I I full hop Waveland here and Fox does any of these approaches on the ground, I'm still safe. The only thing that might hit me here is like a full hop approach. Do I think Fox is gonna full hop approach? That type of thinking of like, you want ideally to just set up an infinite number of like, that is kind of like what you would want, assuming your opponent is not able to deal with you, is every situation is either they do what you expected, they do one of the things you expected and you kill them, or they do some of the other things you expected and your position does not get worse. That way, if you could make every situation in the game into that, which is Falco's strong suit, is making situations that are even or better, like over and over and over and over again. It's why he's so broken.
Yeah.
Like, if you could do that every time, you would never lose because the game would either go to time or you would win.
Yeah.
And that's sort of like the general perspective on like why that position from a top player perspective would not be that good, because it doesn't maximize value based on your expectations.
Yes, that makes tons of sense. Okay, I get it. But now though, how do I do that all the time? I guess.
Right. I wanted to make sure we have the conceptual basis out of the way quickly. Yeah. And now we can work on like how to think about specific positions. So one big way to do it is create positions you understand. Okay. Because if the position is slightly different from a position like if you see a position and you will either get like, oh yeah, that guy, like I play that every day, that spot, or you'll get like, and there's a lot, even as somebody who's played this game for way too long, you know, there's so many like, actually, like, it's a little weird there, you know, like that will happen a lot. And like there are ways to use that position to your advantage also, but that is like, you don't need to worry about that for a while. If the position is weird, your expectations, like when you're really, really good, like when you're Mango good, and like a position comes up that is weird, you're like at the top level, people go through this analysis of like, is it more weird for me than it is for them? Like, do I have more practice in similar enough situations that I'll win this? Or they say, okay, this position weird, but maybe the opponent will think it's this common position, and I'll make a read based on that.
Right.
But you don't really need to be doing that too much, because that's sort of like winning in the margins against people who will never give you a good position unless you like do something interesting. I think like for the most part you should be focused on like if it is a weird position and the expectations don't line up, then have some form of a game plan to try to reset the position and reach positions that you know. And then like if you know the position and it's a position that you've practiced and you lose the position, it's really easy to go back and analyze it because you've been in that position 100 times and you've hit people with all your different moves in that position. So when they beat you for it, you go, how is that different from like what I did before? Like how can I it's sort of like having a game plan for a matchup. It's like you have game plans for specific positions and like getting better and better at a game plan for that specific position. And it's part of why Falco, like another reason why Falco is so broken is because when you shoot a laser, the laser creates way more repetitive positions than any other character in the game gets ever. Ever. Like when you're dash dancing as Fox against another Fox, it's low-key like super chaotic because like you don't really know what the range is, and they don't really know what the range is, and you don't really know what the other person is going to do with that range, and so you're kind of just, like, hoping in a lot of spots. Like, there is a lot of, thought to it, but it's very, like, messy, comparatively. Whereas for Falco, it's like, you shoot your lasers, you know which ranges you want for your lasers. So if you keep shooting lasers until you find that range, and then you have, like for instance... the double laser in place video that I made, you know about that? Yeah. So, like, it's kind of funny. I think making that video was probably the biggest growth spurt my Falco ever had. And it was because I spent, like, 30, 40 hours total of just, like, recording footage and, like, checking the frame data and, like, going over all this stuff and being like, oh, no, I put the CPU Fox too close. He needs to be at this range so that I can record this clip of how up smash can't get in on double laser, And I spent so much time on this one position that it made me, like, for a time, and possibly even still now, the best player in the world at that exact range with Falco
at that
lasers.
Position.
And so, like, then you reach a point where you're like, okay, so this is the position where I am the best player in the room at. Like, then, like, if I can make everyone play me at this range, then I will win the tournament.
Yes, okay, I see.
And so, like, that is sort of what I'm saying. You need to, like, focus on positions that you know you're good at and try to make those positions happen. And if they're not happening, do not just play out the position anyway. Like, your play should be get to the position that I know I'm better in, because you're trying to maximize your odds of winning. And you'll win way more often if you spend more of the game playing positions you're way better at than them.
Yeah, and to practice the position, you would just kind of use save states, or is that...
You use save states, and you use analysis, and you think about it. Okay. It's just, like, so many spots in this game are because one person labbed a spot, and somebody else didn't. Or they labbed it more. Like, it's interesting. So there's this spot in this matchup where you do something like you hit Fox off stage, and Fox does a shine stall low, and Fox is going to double jump and grab the edge, and you're right on the edge here, like looking down on them. And like it's sort of this situation where Geo or Null, he like labbed out this position of like double jumping to ledge, because like I would just run off and shine the sweet spot like every time and kill him for it. And so then, like, Null will now, like, some of the time, he will double jump shine to catch me running off and doing this, like, run off shine.
And then he shines you and then you die. Yeah.
And he shines me and I die. And so it's like, okay, so then I'm like, okay, so I need to do a bait to quickly check if he's going to do the shine enough times that the value becomes positive on me, like, running off the thing or whatever. And so, like, it's like what'll happen is I play a Fox, and the Fox is like double jumping to ledge, and I run off shine them like 3 times, and you see that, you feel the gears turning as they're like, oh, wait a minute, like, I'm gonna come up with something to beat that, right? And they come up with this double jump shine. They've just come up with this brilliant plan to double jump shine me. But, like, I have already spent time on this position, more time than they have. And so when they eventually go for it, my movement and all my positioning will all be already accounting for that spot. And that the game is make or break on those positions of, like, how good are you at, like, the positions that are important, that come up a lot.
Yeah.
Okay. This is very minor. Definitely, you gotta down air these. It's just like, if you this is like not even the stuff I want to be talking about, but like, this needs to be a down air. Like, it just has to be. Otherwise, like, what are you doing?
Or, I mean, all of them.
It's just like, yeah, like, the edge guards, like, you gotta kill Fox off the edge guards. And, like, back air is not going to kill Fox. Back air will just make one more edge guard. And, like, you're not guaranteed to hit that one either. And sometimes, it's not... It's all you can do. You just have to back air. But, like, I'm not sensing that you, like, even were like, he forced me to back air here with an incredible angle. You know what I mean? You're just kind of like, I just back air until he gets back.
Yeah.
Which is inefficient. Okay, so let's look at some more stuff. I think that was probably enough for the theory, and I'm gonna try to, like, find some spots to, like,
I would be interested, I mean, if we have time at the end, maybe to go into how you, like, lab positions and stuff, because I don't think I'm good at it, and I think I've done it in the past where I do it and then it doesn't lead to...
Yeah, I mean, I'm down.
Yeah.
Let's we can find a spot. Let's see.
I think that will, like, give me the framework to do basically, like, that stuff of just, like, kind of going over positions and get better at them.
Yeah, great example of this, of the thing of, like, okay, we run off, we laser. Why'd we down air? What reasoning did we have for down airing here, other than the fact that, like, the position felt vaguely maybe down airy?
Yeah. Yeah, no, that's exactly it.
Yeah, no, yeah, and that's, like, how it works.
Like, let's hope he stays in place, does nothing, and that down air will land, kind of thing.
Yeah, and it's like, okay, so the lesson to learn here is that, like, the threshold for, like, I know, like, the threshold for the next position is gonna look like this needs to be higher, in general. Because, like, you just saw him, like, right here, and you're like, oh, okay, that triggers this whole sequence with the down air. And, like, no, like, there needs to be something more to trigger this position. Yeah. And if we haven't found it yet, we need to be shooting another laser or repositioning or doing something to try to extract out the position that we want, you know? Okay, so far none of this is, like, inefficient necessarily. I have some issues with, I think, in general, I don't want to spend a ton of time on it, but you need to be, like, lasering more and faster against Fox.
Okay.
Like, I sort of say this a bunch, and it's not entirely true, but, like, laser dash dance is somewhat of a sin against Fox. If you're
just smash you for dash dancing every time, kind of thing.
Like, if you're right next to him and you're gonna bait out, like, an up tilt, then you can laser dash dance. And if you're at high percent and you're gonna laser dash back air, or if he's at high percent, then, like, sure. But, like, in general, doing laser dash dance against Fox, like, you hit him with the first laser, and if the second laser is not immediately coming out, you can move and do the second laser. You can dash back laser, move forward laser, or whatever. But if you do laser, like this, I'm only going to spend a second on it, but it is a thing that comes up a lot of, like, okay, we hit him with this laser. This is a great position for us, right? We can't get anything guaranteed, but it's a great position because Fox, like, you could down air in here. If I was a Fox here, I would probably do something that beats down air in. But you can't be sure, so I would probably just shoot another laser and probably check. Okay, so you shoot another laser, that's good. And then you do this kind of bait, and I think this bait wasn't the worst, but here's what I want to highlight, is that you shoot this, this is great, you're controlling Fox, you go for a bait, okay, Fox doesn't take the bait, that's fine, and then you just like, oh, I don't need lasers anymore. And then now that you don't have a laser out, you're going to lose the interaction to Fox like 80% of the time or whatever.
Yeah.
And so that's like, it kind of ties into what I was saying of like, if you want this position where you just hit him with a laser and now you're like super powerful because you have this laser advantage, then like, why would you not want that advantage all the time? Mm-hmm. I know it's easy to get sidetracked of like I think like one of the biggest challenges of this game is that like the best way to play this game is really simple, and it's also like one of the hardest things to do because the game has so many positions in it. But the more you can be like, this is my favorite thing, and all of the complexity, like my whole playstyle is built to like take this complexity and turn it into the order of doing the same thing over and over and doing the thing I want the most. Okay. This is something that, another small one. I just think that this is a bad... this is something that I've done like a million times here. You just don't want to start out in this position, and if you do, you have to immediately full hop. Like, nice, easy rule of thumb, you don't have to think about it ever again. If you laser into a corner like this against Fox, always immediately full hop.
Get out, yeah. Okay.
Like, just every time. Even, you can either dash full hop or full hop straight up, but, like, doing anything else here is just playing with fate for no reason. It's like, well, what if I got this grab, and then I got the back throw, and then he double jumped into my jab, and then he, like, it's like, no. What if we just left, and then he was getting lasered? And it's like, that'd be nice. We love when he's getting lasered, you know? It's funny. There's that old, like, Louis C.K. bit from, like, forever ago where he's talking about how, like, people when they're driving, all they want is their favorite thing, and they'll, like, turn through 3 lanes of traffic because they wanted to turn right there, and they just need their favorite thing so badly. And it's funny, and it just feels like people are always like that, except for Melee. And in Melee, they're like... Well, I have something I want, but I kind of just take it as it comes and kind of just, you know, do stuff. And it's like, it's typically a more well-adjusted mentality socially. But in the game, where, like, in the game, it's a very selfish place. I think a lot of people just have trouble with this in general. And, like, I think... low-key, it's just like the reason why a lot of competitors aren't like great people to hang out with is because they're like already very focused on the fact that like their needs matter more than other people's. I'm guilty of this as well. And like they're just like, yeah, of course, of me. It's me. And then like they get into the game and they're like, I feel kind of talented at the me machine game. And so like I think being, I don't know. I'll try to think of a better way to describe it.
I see what you mean, I think, though. I kind of get it.
Because like, Greedy's...
like, not feeling bad for your opponent losing or something like that. It's just like...
It's like Greedy...
And I definitely kind of suffer from that, I think.
Yeah, like, I don't want to say greedy in the sense... Because that people think of greedy, they think of, like... What if this magical forward smash hit? You know? Mm-hmm. And it's not about, like, that type of greed. It's more about, like... When we're here and we whiff this down air... Do we really want this Nair? Was this Nair what we asked Santa Claus for? Were we like, please put one Nair that's not going to get me anything under the tree. It's all I want. It's like, no, it's not your wish. You need to make your wishes come true in the game. Like literally. Like, if it's not what you really... And the issue is that you get in a position where it's impossible for your wish to come true. And, like, that's when we focus on, like, escaping. We focus on changing the position. We focus on a retreating laser full hop. Sometimes it takes a while. Sometimes our options are to do this Nair that we don't care about and is not good, or spend 10 seconds repositioning and looking for a laser to finally get back to a spot we actually care about. And a lot of times it's really tough to want to be like, fine, again, I will do the sequence where I go around and I set it up. But you got to just be like, no, I want my thing. And I'm not going to give you this dumb nair no matter how badly you ask for it. No matter how many times you put me in a spot where the nair is like... And, like, this is, you know, the Jigglypuff dilemma. Is because Jigglypuff just sits there like... Oh, man, you hit me once. Like, you don't want to have to go through all of that again, right? You know, and they're just like CC mash and grab. Like, please, please, you know? And it's like...
Or the peach with the down smash.
And, like, the people who are the best against Jigglypuff are the people who just, you know, they hit her once and they go, okay, nice. Like, you know, I kind of don't need more than that. I'm just going to kind of do my thing because they already have, like, accepted that what they want the most is to, like, camp Jigglypuff and win off camping.
Yeah.
So it's just, like, an example of, like, yeah, the forward smash is also not really what we want. Okay, that shine is what we want. That's fine. Okay, we're doing this edge guard. That's fine. I'm not gonna... Okay, the back air was good. Okay, so far, I feel like, you know, this is... That back air was a little bit like, maybe good things will happen to me.
Yeah.
Without like a reason.
Approaching for no reason.
And that back air wasn't even like the back air you wanted. Like, if you're gonna do a back air, it should be like, yeah, like, it's the back air that I really want. Like, if I'm gonna risk my life, like, every time you do a move or don't do a move, you're risking your life. And so, like, not necessarily, I guess, if you're far enough away, it's fine. Like, if you're in a really even position. But there's a lot of spots where you're like, I've decided to risk my life here. And if you're going to do that, it needs to be for a good reason.
I just feel like that's so hard in a game that goes this fast and where there's that many things going on, and especially in matchups like these where it's just like...
Right, and I'm down to basically, after this game, because I already know the issues, it's like the same issues that's going to kind of get repeated. Yeah. So what we can do is we can go into training mode and talk about it.
Yep. Super down. I'm probably just gonna get bared at some point. Or something, I don't know. Because I'm gonna risk my life.
Okay, let's see. Okay.
The dash dance, yeah.
This was and this is a much smaller issue of like you're not laser controlling here. Like you played a dash dance spot instead.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay. Alright, let's hop into Uncle Punch and I will restream for you.
Yep.
Let me make sure I'm opening the right version. Yep, okay. Okay, so let's see. Make sure the stream is still working. Yep. Okay.
Yep. I'm there.
So, all right. So let me think of like a spot that would be. Give me 1 sec. I'm gonna think of the best way to talk through this. Okay, so what you were saying was that it's difficult because the game is so fast,
right?
To like know whether you're doing the thing you want, essentially, which is true.
Yeah.
And that is why we do what's, you know, we call it the game plan system. Whereas like if you play without a game plan and you lose, then you watch the VOD back. There's not a lot to say. What you're gonna end up with is what a lot of people end up with is they end up with a list of 25 things that they did wrong. Yes. And what that means is that the game plan was not in effect. Because what you should do with the game plan is essentially reduce a matchup to something as simple as possible. So like as like an example of something that I think, and I think a lot of people struggle with the simplicity of it because Melee really is so complicated. But like forcing the simplicity on the game and then dealing with the intricacies as they come up is what you should do. So like,
Yeah.
for example, like I talk about like Sheik Samus sometime recently with some people, and I say, well, you should start off just boost grabbing, and they're like, oh come on, like there's more to the matchup than boost grabbing, and I'm like, yeah, but like you need to boost grab is what you want the most. And so you're going to be like, okay, I want to boost grab. I'm just going to try to boost grab. And when that doesn't work, I need to see what my opponent did to stop me.
Mm-hmm.
And so you say, okay, I'm just going to assume that there's a way to boost grab at every position. And you try it. You go, oh, they wave dashed back here. And you go, okay, so like sometimes they wave dash back. I need a plan to beat the wave dash back. And, you know, build the game plan sort of in that order. And then what we do is we have this, like, you know, think of, like, the theoretical true mashup. And there's all these tree branches and little intricacies. And your thing is stale here and all this stuff. You know, like, that's, like, the real mashup that's deep in the game somewhere in information space. And then we have, like, the mashup that we're going to try to play, which is, like, this little thing that has like 3 features on it. And we're essentially saying like, okay, if it's not one of these like 3 positions that I want, or like 3 things that I'm trying to do, then like I don't actually care about it. Like if your game plan in a matchup is to do 2 specific things, oh, I'm gonna try to shine them and I'm gonna try to hit them with, you know, up tilt or something, like not saying that you're gonna do that. Let's say you had this matchup where you only care about shine and up tilt, and then because that's what you want the most and you're trying to do that, and then you keep failing in these same ways, then it's easy to look and say like, okay. And so this is the game plan effect, is even if your game plan was to literally do up tilt over and over and then like catch them when they ran in as like the simplest thing you could imagine. If you go into a game and you do only the up tilt over and over, and then you look at the situations where you won and you look at the situations where you lost, and you see how those corresponded to this simple idea that you had. Mm-hmm. Whereas, like, if you didn't have a plan and you went in and you're doing some nairs and some down airs and some whatevers, then, like, it's really easy to be like, oop, that nair should have been a nair, oop, that nair should have been an up tilt, whatever. Whereas, when you have the plan, you say, okay, I up tilt in every situation. And you say, okay, well, when they're dash dancing at this distance, the up tilt is not as good. So now at that distance, I do a laser there. And you say, now the matchup is up tilt everywhere, but laser at that one spot. And then you do that. And it's like, it sort of breaks things down into 2 categories. Either you weren't doing the game plan, in which case the answer is to do the game plan. Like the answer is like, oop, I let the game's complexity throw me off of my intention. That's like one lost case. I wasn't doing the plan. I wasn't like playing as if the game was that simple. Like you want to play as if the game is as simple as your game plan is, and then when things go wrong, adapt through analysis. Because like once you've done everything in your game plan, the only other option is clearly this game plan, which could be written out on a sheet of paper and is like not ambiguous in any way, is incomplete. And so now I will try to find the section of the game plan that appears the least effective and find a way to add something new to the game plan. So now we have this new game plan where we do these things. Is this enough to make the game work for me? And you just push that game plan. And it makes the process of like building on what you've learned a lot easier, because you're always doing things according to a plan and not intuition.
Yeah.
Does that where are you at on that? Like, I'm just curious what your thoughts are, and then I can talk about.
It makes sense to me, and it definitely like rings true to people that have beaten me in the past, where I feel like they're doing extremely simple things, and I'm trying to do a million things at the same time.
Yeah, that is an easy way to lose.
I definitely feel like that's a process I've tried to go through. Like that's very much how Squid teaches, and so I've had like everything I told before about the Fox matchup is like basically Squid's game plan on what to do as like in Falco Fox. I think I kind of struggle sometimes at making things really simple, in part because I don't find it as fun, and so it just like kind of it just kind of gets boring sometimes. I remember like Squid was just like, "Oh yeah, you just go to the platforms and then they come at you and you shield drop shine them," and I was like, "That's just mind-bogglingly boring to me to do that to every fox I play against." It would work against most foxes, like eventually they're gonna do something bad and you can punish it. But yeah, yeah. Basically, that's where I'm at. I'm like thinking about how I can make this fun, basically.
Okay, so one thing I do want to say, it doesn't cover the whole thing, but sort of like the boring element is I think that this is what a lot of people run into in Melee, is that like we get into the game for the wonder, and then everyone who's good tells you to play without wonder.
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
And they're like, well, if you want to be good, just stop having as much fun as you're having, like me. And you're like, I'm gonna go somewhere else.
Yeah.
But I think like the key is sort of that like the fun is in the margins. Like once you like sort of like, I think an easy way to demonstrate it is with combos, where like people will do a combo that like, well, this combo kills every time, so it's like lame. And so they're like, well, I'm gonna do this combo that doesn't kill every time, and that makes me cooler.
Yeah.
And it's like, there's just no reason to do that. There's no reason to do that.
It's just worse.
At all. Yeah. And it took me a long time to accept that like, you can't have fun in a position that doesn't have fun in it. But if you do that position right every time, eventually you will either be the undefeated GOAT or your opponent will figure out a way to not let that happen. And the true creativity and the fun happens when you do everything textbook correctly. It is like, okay, so like, let's say there are spots where you do the textbook and it kills. Now let's say you do the textbook answer but it doesn't kill. That's that's like fun alert of like, wait a minute, I could do something creative outside of the textbook that would gain like greater value than the textbook. Like essentially the fun should be had above the textbook level.
Yeah,
like you do the most standard thing where the standard thing has to go, and then you add on cool stuff on top of that, because otherwise you're just essentially like ineffective, or like there's too much like disorder. And it's kind of like you know, if someone is like a really, really good artist, they can break the rules of the art. Like they can have fun because they're transcending the rules, but like simply not following the rule. Yeah.
I don't know if I told you I'm like a classical musician, so this.
Oh, nice. Like, yeah. Okay. Yeah. No, that's
like,
perfect.
Oh, yeah. Don't play out of tune. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Don't play out of tune. Like, if it's on purpose, it could be kind of badass, maybe, you know. But like, if like you've already
really good,
yeah, if you're really insanely good, and you're like so bored of doing the textbook option perfectly that you need to find a way to go beyond, that is where the real fun is. And I think that like that is like part of why I always tell people that the game is so much more fun when you're good. And it's so much more fun when you're good, because when you have fun, it's strictly better. Like you're like, I have this baseline of effectiveness that I am using to like as a floor, and like all of my fun can only make me sicker than like a textbook could imagine. Versus like every time I try to have fun, I lose, and I hate Marth players.
Yes.
And the issue is, a lot of Marth players, they just spend their whole life chasing the textbook, and they don't actually know what having fun is. So then, like, somebody who, like, desperately wants to have fun but doesn't have the textbook options up to a certain point will endlessly hate that person. Because they're like, well, your enjoyment is apparently just chasing the textbook. I don't want to be a textbook chaser. It's like, right, because you gotta be a textbook, like, you gotta leave the textbook in the dust by just getting all that stuff down. So that was the thing I wanted to say, sort of, about like the whole like it's kind of boring or whatever. Because like
No,
it's
but that's a great way to put it. I
okay.
definitely agree.
I'm glad when you say you're a classical musician. I'm like, okay, I feel like this is gonna click.
Yeah,
Because
yeah, yeah.
that was like a big moment for me, like realizing like no, like having fun by being worse is it's dirty fun. It's why it feels so bad when you lose. When you're like, I tried to style and they got me by doing the normal thing. It's like, yeah, it hurts extra because you know that like the style wasn't helpful. Whereas like when you get the crazy secret extender that no one thought possible, like when Mango finds an extender that lets him kill Zane with Falco, it's not because he can't do the pillar.
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
like, man, that guy hits the pillar like every single time, like forever, and that is why when he finds the one magical creative detail, it first of all works, and second of all is like actually cool.
Mhm. Yeah, no, definitely.
Um,
Okay, so how do I change the textbook? That's the because I felt like I had done that for a while, but now I still look at my games and there's still like I mean obviously like stuff like that, just like bad back airs and whatnot that come up.
So I think like if you feel like you've already had some gameplay, game plan training from
Yeah,
like Squid and
yeah,
stuff like that,
yeah,
then you probably have a lot of the right answers sort of like built in, and
yeah.
it's gonna be a lot more of like checking yourself for following them, um, like being like, okay, wait, was that part of the plan? And if not, like I need to adjust so that can be part of the plan, and like I will fix it.
Okay.
Um, because like what I was saying, like a lot of these things are like it's like you don't need a game plan. Like you don't need a perfect game plan to know that like those random like that random backer you did at 30 is
Yeah,
not the best option. But
yeah,
like if you have a game plan and the game plan says if I don't have a starting laser, always find a starting laser, then
mhm,
like now you have a framework with which to tell you why this is bad, and you don't
yeah,
have to be like, okay, well I did this, maybe I should have done this, maybe I should have done this, maybe I should have done this, maybe I should have done
mhm,
this, you know, like maybe I should have
yeah,
done
yeah,
all of
yeah.
these. It's like you don't need to think about that because you have a game plan that tells you that you needed a retreating laser here.
Mhm.
And if
Okay.
later you realize that like you need to add something else to the game plan because this retreating laser is not as good as you thought, then you can just add it to the game plan. But it's sort
Okay.
of like we know this is bad and we know we have a game plan, so we should just be following that plan instead. And
Right.
then like the one remaining issue is like figuring out how to actually like make the game plan and like
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
yeah, and I'm getting to that. Just we might go a few minutes over, but I was like, all right,
Yeah, I'm down.
we have everything lined up. The one thing
Yeah.
is to like make the game plan.
Yeah, yeah,
um
yeah.
I think making the game plan on your own is tricky. I actually
Mhm.
think that like making one from scratch is hard, and you need a lot of fundamental knowledge about the game in order to like make it actually effective. But I think that like this is where VODs come in. Like this is
Okay.
where like because like I can assure you that every single top Falco player has a game plan for every
Mhm.
matchup. I have a ton of okay, like I mean I have like a really fleshed out game plan for the Fox matchup that like I, you know, have talked about in like 100 lessons. And you
Mhm.
could basically just like, you know, copy that.
Yeah.
Like you can copy that and then just focus on like executing that game plan or whatever. Because actually making the game plan is like a little complicated. You start with like, okay, I want this at this percent. I want my favorite thing at this percent. You know,
Yeah.
if you're watching a top player, then like they probably also want the same thing at that percent. And so you
Yeah.
can be like, how did they get it? Like how did they
Mhm.
avoid getting put in the position that like wasn't the position that they wanted? And like
Right.
how can I include what they did in like my plan? Because otherwise, what you do, like if you're a top player and you're trying to make a game plan for a matchup, you do the thing I was talking about. We're like, okay, at 0, all I really want is running shine, or I want laser shine, and then you
Mhm.
play a bunch of friendlies, and you're like, okay, try to get the laser shine, try to get the running shine at 0, and I'll just do that and like ignore the rest of the matchup. Like maybe at high percents I'm doing whatever, but at low percent I'm like, okay, hit the shine, hit the shine, hit the
Mhm.
shine, get it going, and then I watch the VODs and I say, okay, when did those shines work? When did they not? And I go, oh, it keeps not working when I'm like right here. It's a little too far away. And I'm like, okay, so maybe from this position they're doing a defensive action, so I set this up. And then you're like, okay, well, what if they're attacking? And I'm like, okay, well, if they feel like they're aggro out of this and they're not going to give me this like pressure position, or I want to bait them, then I do this. And I say, okay, what's their best answer to that? You know. And you kind of go through that, and you build that up, and you say, okay, how about the 20 to 30% range? Like, building up, like, a really, really good game plan is not super easy. And so I would say, like, the best thing to do is kind of, like, find reductions that pros have, and then, like, try to implement them as, like, a basis, and then, like, when holes get poked in that game plan, then you say, okay, I'm gonna watch the VODs. Like, watching the VODs with a question in mind of, like, well, I copied this and this about the game plan, but this keeps happening to me and that doesn't happen to them. Why is that? And you go into the match and you're looking for a specific position where they get this up tilt and you get hit or something. It's so much easier to analyze the VOD than being like, why did they beat Sheik and I lose to Sheik? You're like, why did they not get forward tilted there and I do? Like, did they do something magical, or did they have, like, did they just perfect wave shine out of shield at, like, frame perfect and I'm slow and I need to practice that? Or was it because I did this and they did this? You know, and you're like, oh, okay, so right there, I'll do this from now on. And then, like, then you get experience in those positions. And then you're like, because, like, I've talked about this in a bunch of lessons, that, like, a big part of getting better at the game is getting experience in the right positions. So that's what the game plan is for, and that's why, like, it's really hard to just build it from scratch when you don't know, like enough. And, like, but you can build it off of, like, a basis that, like, the top players give you, and that'll give you practice in the better situations. So when you actually do solve forward on your game plan, you're not solving forward on, like, a bad basis of, like, a plan. And, you know, if you wanted to practice a position, like, let's say we're in that spot. We're right here, and okay, so, and then Fox does like this, and then I think this was the spot where you did, like, that nair, where you're like, I did this nair, and okay, so what if I do this, like, so let's say, okay, so I do this, and I go, okay, I mean, that's not that bad, but I probably don't need to give up this much space. And so I'm like, okay, how about this one? I'm like, okay, so let's say I do this. And, you know, just as an example, I do that. And then I say, okay, so now it'll look like this. And now I go, okay, let's go to slot 2. And let's see. So let me do slot 2. And I record. Or let's do the playback of slot 1. Let's see, how do I copy it? I can't remember how to copy it. It's been a little bit since I used this. But yeah, let's just have you record it. So you do something like this, where you're like, okay, I was doing this attack, and then let's say I run in here. So, like, let's say what's the worst case that Fox has, or my worst case is that Fox is gonna run into this one, and I'm like, oh, okay. So after this laser, Fox could run in. Do I have, like, a better system to deal with Fox running in there? Oh, maybe I do that. And it's like, you kind of have to just go through the position and spend time on it. Like, what I'll say is that, like, a lot of times it's something like this. A lot of times it's literally, like, when I'm getting better for real, I'll just have a position where I set the percents or whatever, and then I go, okay, let's say Fox just does this, and he does that. I'm like, oh, okay, what do I do? Okay, it's kind of hard to hit this. Like, maybe on some of these I can hit this. Maybe do I have this? Do I have this? And just kind of, like, practicing dealing with it over and over. And, like, pros will, like, put a movie on, and they'll just sit here doing this of, like, okay, well, I know what he's gonna do. Do I have, like, a better solution? And, like, 20 minutes in, half the time I'll be like, wait a minute, like, wait a minute, I can actually up air him here or something like that I didn't realize. And then, you know, you find a solution, and then you're like, okay, time to hit the mines and, like, hit ranked and, like, see if I can make that useful to myself.
Right.
So, like, there's the rest, like everything has a theoretical basis, but the actual making of game plans is not super easy. And it's like a straightforward process, but there's like a lot to it. And that's why I think like even when a pro is making a game plan, nobody's making stuff from scratch. Everybody's watching VODs of the other players and being like, you'll just notice that like if you watch my Falco, you'll be like, man, every time he does this lacer to the corner, he's full hopping. Man, I gotta fix that snapback. But you're like, yeah, like every time he does this, and so you're like, maybe that's a part of the plan. Like maybe I should try that. And I think that that reminded me of that down tilt is like that is like even if you don't know the right game plan for a position, you should be good enough at this point to be able to notice those insufficient or inefficient positions where you do like oh, he's at 0 and I do, you know, this back air, and it's like, okay, like you can look and be like, that doesn't have a big punish, it has a big issue with it, and then you can say like, okay, was there something that is in my current simplified game plan of the matchup that fits that? And if it doesn't, we go to the VODs and we say, what does Ginger do there? Sometimes like I will go through 10 VODs in half an hour, just being like, where's that spot? You can go through it at 2 times speed, just looking for the spot. You go, oh, there's that spot, write down what they do, find another VOD. Where's that spot? Find it and say, okay, my plan now is to do this thing that I saw pros do a few times there. And then when you try it, you'll get the information of like, oh, it doesn't work here. What do they do there? You know? And then sticking to that plan. That's where like the real effectiveness comes from. So yeah, what are your thoughts? We can kind of like start closing up now.
Yeah. I mean, that all makes a lot of sense, and it just, I think, kind of boils down to like just optimizing and minimizing like all the little inefficiencies and all the little spots where I kind of do meh things, and just like optimizing from that.
Most importantly, I would say it is fixing the mentality that caused those meh things to not be already removed.
Right.
Like, there's clearly, like, a procedural issue that has caused them to show up, or, like, an issue thinking about the game in, like, a sense that, like, when you're playing and you do those things, you're not, like, cringing immediately.
Yeah.
Whereas like a top player would definitely cringe. Like every time I do a back air like that, I just sit there like, no, and they don't punish it, and I'm like, back to the plan. I'm sorry. I shouldn't have done that back air. And so like, I think like removing the inefficiency, but also like changing your perspective in a way that like those inefficiencies are minimized or like stand out more and cause you to be like, no, I really need to stick to the game plan, and like I really need to like stop doing the meh things like as much as possible. And that's like a battle in itself, like not doing the meh things, you know?
Yeah, it's super hard. Like that's why I keep doing
like following a game plan. Like following a flawed game plan is much harder than doing like stuff that's good sometimes and bad other times, and maybe we find it and maybe we don't. But it is the way to like establish consistency. And I think that like the road is you know, I think in Melee it's a very long, complicated road to getting better. And so when you suggest large changes to the way people play, this happens with a lot of like my students, that like they kind of subconsciously struggle with it because it feels like starting over, or it feels like we're gonna have to like really build this thing up from like nothing. But it's not quite like that. I think like there's a lot of knowledge that is like there already, and like that type of knowledge will like come in handy like later. It's like if somebody's like well, I knew Spanish as a kid, but then I didn't speak Spanish for 15 years, and now I don't know any Spanish. And then it's like, okay, but if you like got out the textbook, you would be like flying so fast. It wouldn't be like we got to start from nothing, you know? And so I think like a lot of times people have trouble jumping into like a totally new mentality on playing because they're afraid of like how long things will take to adjust. But things always adjust quicker than you think. I think in Melee, if you play a decent amount, like, no matter how drastic the change you make, within, like, about a month, like, things start to, like, even out. Or, like, things will kind of, like, bleed back in. And you'll be like, okay, I'm kind of doing what I was doing before, but with these new improvements. But there is, like, a time period of, like, a little dip. What I would say is my, you know, final sort of thoughts on everything is I would say play in short bursts with analysis in between.
Okay.
So I would say like play for like 20 minutes and then like watch the whole 20-minute session back and be like, didn't follow the game plan there, followed it there, didn't follow it there. Don't really understand that position, but I'm going to stick this placeholder for the game plan there. And then be like, when you go into the match later, you know, like an hour later or something, you're like, okay, like, I am not going to be like that. I am going to follow the plan this time. And, like, you know, playing low-stakes matches just on, like, ranked or something and just focus on, like, was I intentionally following that plan? Like, how much like subconscious like waste was there essentially? And just like focus, like the longer you play, the harder it is to maintain the focus on the new stuff, and the more you'll fall back into habits. And then like the longer you go between playing, the more you'll fall back into habits. So like very condensed, like I did the thing. I watched the VOD. I was doing these things wrong. Because then, like, later that day when you go into the session, it's fresh of, like, gonna be anything but that guy from earlier. Not gonna do that one nair. Not gonna do that back air. You know, not gonna do that one up air in the spot where it wasn't really good.
Yeah.
And that would be my thought process as to, like, the quickest way to improve at it right now.
Yep, that makes sense. I'm excited to play.
Okay, great. Yeah, I was hoping we could
analyze also.
I was hoping to get into more examples, but like I low-key think that like the theoretical basis was more important. Like I would much rather you be like fully understanding the theory here, and then you send me a clip or something of like, I'm confused at this spot, and we can and I can just like, you know, respond to that or something. Yeah, I think that's better than if I went over some examples and then I always try to avoid that, like, well, it made sense when the teacher was doing it on the board type of deal, because I hate that feeling. I hate that feeling. So I'm like, no. I need to, like, if we understand the theory is important, we understand how to practice it, we understand, you know, how to think about it. I think that's the important part here.
Yep, totally.
Great. So yeah, feel free to send me any questions or clips you have while practicing this, and I'm curious to know how it goes and your like impressions on trying it and stuff like that.
Yep, I'll let you know.
Yeah, it was great talking, man, and I'll talk to you later, and hope you have a good one.
Yep, thank you.
Great, peace.